Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Thornycroft with Redwood Logistics, and welcome to the Redwood Rundown for the week of July 22nd, 2024. Getting near the end of the month. With that usually comes a little bit of a volume push. Are we going to see it for the end of July? I think so. Places that we're watching very closely on the Great Plains, watching very closely on the LA ports, watching very closely on the Northeast, and watching very closely on the Midwest. We know that seasonally those markets generally start to take hold right about now. Usually you see the LA ports happen a little bit later in August, but we think based off the data that we've been seeing, there's actually going to be a little bit more freight on those Southern Cal ports than would be normally seasonally expected, and that's going to tighten up, especially as you get towards that like Friday, Saturday of coming on up. If you are taking chances out there, whether you are a shipper or a broker, if you are taking chances out there, the chance that you should not be taking is taking a chance on Saturday shipping for Southern California. The market generally dries on up for the end of the month, and people get very, very opportunistic out of there. Now, we don't think that we're going to see a huge Midwest crunch for the end of July. It doesn't look like that yet. There are little signs. There are little signs that there's some tightening, but it doesn't look like we're going to see that big crunch for the end of July for that market or the Northeast. But we are seeing signs that those markets should be the ones that start to turn as we make our way into August. Also coming on up, we've got that Pac Northwest season. It starts a little bit earlier than people remember, so watch for that over the next roughly 3 to 4 weeks for that to start to increase in some volume. And remember, people haven't been sending a lot of equipment over there, so there's not a ton of outbound capacity for that market, so it can tighten really fast. As far as the rest of the market goes, here's what we see. The outbound tender rejection index has come on down to about 5%. But it hasn't really gone into a free fall below that. So what that feels like at this point in time is that we've established a new floor for where these tender rejections are going to be, and it's right around this 5% mark. That's notable because last year at this point in time, that new floor was down around 2%. So there has been change. And as that changes, as more freight enters into the spot market, it will grow in sensitivity in reaction to that market. We're a long way off from the spot market having a ton of control over the contract market. Still a long way to go, particularly on the demand side. But there have been a lot of notable changes that have happened post-road check, just like we said was going to take place. From this point, the thing that we are watching, what happens when you have capacity contract in multiple areas at the same time, and it is less of a regional impact like what we saw throughout June, and more of a national impact. When we get there, all of a sudden, we'll start answering a lot more questions. That's all we've got for this week. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.